When you do any job, any karma action, if you have a correct attitude, and if you do it with a focused mind, good-hearted way, your activity is not saturated by your perspiration. The activity becomes thrilled by inspiration. Same actions that you do in daily life, daily chores. Can be a farmer, can be a shopkeeper, you can be office manager, you can be whoever. Big job, small job, or just kitchen job. Om Nilambujasyamalakomalangam Sita Samaropita Vamabhagam Panau Maha Sayakacharu Chapam Namami Ramam Raghuvanshanatam. Adorations to Lord Rama, whose complexion is like a blue lotus, very tender and delightful in appearance. Sita is seated on his left side, and he is carrying a powerful bow and arrow in his hands. Bālakāṇḍa, we're moving towards Doha number 186. In a storyline, all the gods, led by Brahma, the creator, approached Lord Vishnu. Or rather, put it in another way, all the gods, along with Brahma, they offered prayers to the divine self, Lord Vishnu. First the question was how to go to Milky Ocean. And Lord Krishna, Lord Shiva said that Hari Vyapaka Sarvatra Samana. God is permeating the universe in such a way, Sarvatra Samana, not 90% in one house, 80% in another, 10% in another. No, 10%. And put it another way, the house that really he is in is your heart. And we'll go into that gradually. As a result of those prayers, as a response, Jani Sabhaya Sura Bhumi Suni Vachana Samet Sane Gagan Gira Gambhir Bhai Harani Shoka Sandeh. Knowing the gods and the earth goddess had approached the Lord in a mystical way, terrorized by the demoniac growth, the growth of demoniac power. Having listened to their loving prayers, the response comes from the heavenly sky. When ordinary news comes, the ground breaks. When inspirational news comes, sky breaks. Broke the sky. Understand this storyline, and stories can be elaborated with imagination in a profound way. No teachers will tell the story of Ramayana exactly the same way. That's why you have many Ramayanas. Valmiki told in one way, Tulsidas changes complete chapter by chapter. Because spirituality is not going after history. You have plenty history around the world. And even the best of historical studies are not going to do anything, any enriching aspect. You have to understand that stories are told to help you to go into the deeper meaning behind those stories. And also, let me relate to you that even the stories as they are, even if you didn't have much sensitivity behind it, they are fashioned in a mantric way, mantra way, that it settles in your mind with a healing touch. No matter which part of Ramayana you read. But as you become spiritually sensitive and go into the subtler meaning, gives you a greater, more real, profound joy. Not only joy, but a big transformation. So therefore, I have blended telling the story of Ramayana and going to interrupt this story and going to give you deeper meaning. Janidar pahu muni siddha suresa, tumahi lag dhari hau narabesa. O sages, siddhas, gods, do not be afraid. For your sake, I will incarnate upon this earth in a human form. And I will incarnate along with my aspects. In other words, Lord Vishnu incarnates. Lord Vishnu, again, when we say Vishnu is the same absolute Lord, incarnates in 4 personalities: Rama, Lakshmana, Bharata, and Shatrughna. And they will incarnate in the family line of the sun, solar rays, Dinakar ones. Now, put your mind on a high level. Solar rays represents Uttarayana, the northern path for the soul. And all those sages who have experienced that movement, they come in the line of solar rays. And to remind you, Uttarayana relates to, it's coming from the Gita, Agni Jyoti Shukla Sanamasha Uttarayanam. Soul that has become highly enlightened, well rooted in spirituality, dharma. He follows a process. Agni, first, fire of vairagya develops in his heart. He doesn't go after objects just led by the whims of the mind, but pauses. What are the objects? What are their values? And develops vairagya. Vairagya is dispassion. And subtler point, as you live your life, deep down you do not expect to come back again in the world. Just like you live your life and your mind is constantly agitated by the idea, how is it there are so many wonderful places to see? And how many have I seen? Only 10. Keeping the same attitude. Soul not satisfied with one embodiment, led by karma, enters another embodiment. And many things that you dreamt of attaining and couldn't attain, now in another embodiment you attain them. But all your expectations are never fulfilled. Krishnana jirna, vayameva jirna. You begin to understand the greater and greater dimension of pleasure. So, and you find yourself, by the time you try to fulfill your desires, you age and desires become younger. And you are drawn to the younger one. You come to the next life, trying to fulfill the desire. Anyway, I'll not go into that. So, in that Dinakar once, in this solar race, so as I was describing, Agni, fire, that's Vairagya is the first step. Jyoti, light of wisdom enters your intellect. Not intellectual understanding, very pure insight. Aha. Aha means, relates to day. You begin to enrich every day of your life. The deity of the day. That means you live your life not in a meaningless, but a heart that has certain sense of divine purpose. Not a repeat of a boring experience. Masses continue doing that until there comes a time, when will I retire? And then another level emerges in your movement, described as waxing moon. The moon, after the black half of the month, begins to emerge and gradually go on waxing, increasing, until it becomes full moon. Pure feeling emerges from your heart. The real feeling, the feeling that can unite you with God and unite with all creation, not only on the earth planet, countless planets. That type of feeling. And that feeling goes on waxing, called bhavana shuddhi, purity of feeling. Then comes Shatmasha Uttarayanam, the northern course of solar movement, which means a period of daylight goes on increasing until comes to the longest period of day. That's allegorically, it has nothing to do with the study of this solar process. But allegorically, your consciousness begins to expand. Until you reach a climax where your soul realizes, I am that. And then there is no coming back. You don't have to repeat the same story again and again. You don't have to eat the same food. Worse still, you don't have to go after vomited stuff. So that's voice came with a sky-breaking process. The divine God is saying, I will be born in the family of the solar race. And this is the solar race I have put you before you. If you are born in that way, then you follow these steps. Of course, go into the Puranic story. There's a whole chapters after chapters written on how Rama came from a family where every great personality performed an act of immense sacrifice. कश्यप अदिति महातप कीन्हा तिन्ह कहूँ मैं पूरब बर दीन्हा. Great sage Kashyapa with his wife Aditi had performed great austerity, and as a result I have granted boon that they will be born as Te Dasharatha Kaushalya Rupa Kaushalapuri Pragatana Rabhupa. They will be born as King Dasharatha and Queen Kaushalya in Ayodhya city. Another point to understand, in the early stages you heard about Manu and Shatrughna practicing austerity, and the God gave them the same boon. But now the mention is of Kashyapa and Aditi. That shouldn't give you any confusion. This type of problem is resolved by the statement. The Rama avatar happens in every yuga, and there is little variation in the story. So there are countless variations of Rama's story. Kashyap, sage, a soul that with a divine potential, and Aditi, his queen, is a source of Advaita, non-duality. Aditi itself means non-duality. तिनके गृह अवतारी हूँ जाई रघुकुल तिलक सचारी उभाई. That divine voice says, I will enter into the family of King Dasharatha and his 3 wives, and incarnate as 4 brothers. नारद बचन सत्य सब करी हूँ परम शक्ति समेत अवतरी हूँ. In the storyline, Narada had given them a comforting, rather, a prophecy that they will become the parents of the Rama avatar. Let me put your mind to another level. Narada relates to satsanga. If satsanga movement has started within your heart, you become King Dasharatha. Dasharatha means the chariot with 10 horses, or they are indriyas. And your village town is Ayodhya. Ayodhya, where all battles end. But that's all is potential, language of potential. These are your inheritance, but you have to claim it. And the queens of King Dasharatha, Kaushalya comes from the word kushal. Kushal is skill, mystic skill. To live your life, it requires a divine skill. Walking through swarms of mosquitoes needs a skill to be put onto the nose. I'm joking. The term skill is very important. When you do any job, any karma action, if you have a correct attitude, and if you do it with a focused mind, good-hearted way, your activity is not saturated by your perspiration. The activity becomes thrilled by inspiration. Same actions that you do in daily life, daily chores, can be a farmer, can be a shopkeeper, you can be office manager, you can be whoever. Big job, small job, or just kitchen job. But every job is a form of karma yoga. So, and if you do it with skill, your life will be enriched by all divine qualities. Kaushalya is that mother that brings a skill in your life, mystic skill. And Ayodhya's another name is Kaushalpuri, a city where skill has gone to climax. And that term kushal is used for blessings. Someone comes and I'm going for a trip, want your blessings. Kushal, kushal ho. हरिहं सकल भूमि गहरु आई, निर्भय हो देव सबुदाई. I will relieve the earth of this demoniac burden. O gods, become fearless. Listening to this heavenly voice, gods returned to their abodes. Their heart that was burning hot now became cool. तब ब्रह्मा धरनी समुझावा, अभय भई भरोस जिय आवा. Brahma, the creator, explained the meaning of this heavenly voice to the earth goddess. And the goddess became fearless and developed courage in her heart. निज लोक ही विरंचिगे, देवन यही सिखाई. बानर तनु धरि धरि मही, हरिपद से वहु जाई. Brahmaji, creator, before retiring to his own abode, he instructed the gods that they should assume bodies of monkeys and wait for Rama's incarnation and serve Rama in every way possible. And therefore, monkeys, or gods, all gods, entered into embodiments. And so later you will understand when monkey army is described. Hanuman comes as the son of wind god. And another aspect of Hanuman, he is embodiment of Lord Shiva. And similarly, Jambavanti himself comes Brahma's incarnation. Bali is Indra's incarnation. Sun God came in the form of Sugriva. When you hear all that, but your mind and senses are the monkeys. They are all presided by gods. Therefore, those who do detailed rituals, they do nyasa. You touch your eyes and praise God, sun God. And so many. Every part of your body has a god behind. So all the gods have incarnated in the form of your mind and senses. Monkeys and bears are waiting for you to help the Rama. गए देव सब निज निज धामा भूमि सहित मन कहूँ विश्रामा. Now storyline. Gods went to their abodes and they incarnated. That doesn't mean that they left their homes, but they manifested as monkeys, etc. जो कछु आय सु ब्रह्मा दीना हर्षे देव विलंबन कीन्हा. As commanded by Brahma, the creator, gods didn't delay responding to the command. They all incarnated. Banachara deh dhari chiti mahi atulit bal pratapati napahi. They came upon the earth in monkey bodies. Of course, details will come you later. Even bears are included. Monkeys and bears. And they possessed unimaginable strength and valor. They were great heroes. Mountains, trees, and nails were their weapon. Nails are karmas, actions. They scratch things. Trees, bhakti, devotion, and meditation. And mountains, wisdom, deep insight. So, put it in a simple way, these are the ingredients of integral yoga. Action, emotion, will, and reason. These energies are operating in you. Their source is divine. गिरि कानन जहाँ तहाँ भरी पूरी रहे निज निज अनेक रुचि रोरी. यह सब रुचिर चरितमय भाषा अब सो सुनहु जो बीच ही राका. These monkeys, they began to dwell in the mountains and forests, and they had wonderful groups, their army, joyous, vigorous army of monkeys began to bring a strange life in the forest. Now listen to what I have left, the storyteller says. Avadapuri Raghukula Mani Rao Veda Viditatehi Dasharatha Nau. In the city of Ayodhya, the jewel of the Raghu race. The Raghu race is same as the solar race that I have explained. In history line, you have to go through the father of Dasharatha and father's father and all that. I'm not so much interested in that. And his name is Dasharatha. Name is completely clear. There's nothing hidden about it. That's 10 Rath chariot. Chariot yoked to 10. 10 yoked to the chariot. Kaushalya dinari priya sab acharan puneet pati anukula prema drisha haripad kamal abhineet. He had 3 queens, Kaushalya and others. But I'm not keeping you in suspense. Kaushalya, Sumitra, and Kaikeyi. Kaushalya term I have explained comes from Kushal, skill. Sumitra becomes the source of bringing out attitude of friendliness to all. Sumitra's sons will be Lakshmana and Shatrughna. Shatrughna means one who destroys the enemies of your soul. That means anger, greed, hate, etc. And Lakshmana brings divine qualities, lakshanas, good characteristics in your personality. And when you have that 2 movements, removing mala and decking yourself with divine virtues, your heart doesn't have any animosity towards anybody. When you're really rich, you don't care anything. And the 3rd queen is Kaikeyi. Kaikeyi has double question mark. Kai. This is a path of inquiry. Who am I? And that inquiry process demands a lot of austerity. So it is Kaikeyi who switches the stage. Rang mein bhang. Things are going well, that Kaikeyi will suddenly make a big change in Rama's life. Storyline. Three great sources from your heart. That source that keeps your activities in perfect precision, divine precision, Kaushalya. And that can happen only when Rama comes. Rama is Dhyana, comes from us. And a heart that contains friendliness for all, that requires Lakshmana, who is the embodiment of Dhyana yoga, meditation, willpower. And Shatrughna, who is the embodiment of karma yoga, removing all impurities. When these 2 begin to operate in you, Lakshmana and Shatrughna, then friendly attitude, you have nothing to constantly complain. Otherwise, every day you wake up and say, things would have been wonderful. If someone has not done something, if something had not happened in Australia, I'm joking, but I'm trying to avoid politics. And Kaikeyi gives birth to Bharata. This is Bharata, whose personality is most luminous personality. And it's after the name of Bharata comes Bharata, India. The embodiment of Bhakti, devotion. So it is Kaikeyi movement that brings out Bharata. So all that will come. I'm just giving you little dots. At this stage, they're not born yet. I just gave you forecast. एक बार भूपति मन माही भय गलानी मोरे सुत नाही गुर गृह गए तुरत बही पाला चरण लागी करी विनय विशाला. One day, the king suddenly began to reflect upon that so far I have no sons. Who will be the ruler after me? And the moment that idea entered his mind, he went to his guru, sage Vasishtha. Having offered adorations to his feet, he expressed his aspiration, his desire. निज दुख सुख सब गुरु ही सुनायऊ कही वशिष्ठ बहुवधि समुझायऊ. And he told all his anxiety that he was suffering from. He opened his heart to the Guru. And Sage Vasishtha comforted him. Dharahu dhir ho'i sutachari tribhuvana vidita bhagat bhayahari. Be patient. You are going to be blessed with 4 sons who will be famous, renowned. They will go into great publicity, virals. And they will rid all fear from the heart of devotees. Shringi rishi Vasishtha bolava Putrakama Yagya karava. Sage Vasishtha invited a sage known as Shringi Rishi. Literally, Shring means horn. Some people even put the cartoon, the Rishi with a horn. Shringi Rishi. But even the scriptures create a lot of points that amuse your mind. But the Shring term relates to crest jewel. Everybody's head is called Shring. And you deck the head with beauteous things called Shringar. This fashion came from the animals. They look so beautiful with their hearts. I'm joking. What I'm leading in this, that there's no difference between animals, human beings. They're all souls. See how much Shringar is there in a peacock. Human beings with all their science, etc., they can't spread out. Now Shringi Rishi performed a special yajna, sacrificial ritual for King Dasharatha. The yajna is known as Putrakama Yagya. Yajna with the purpose of receiving the boon of being blessed with a child, sons, daughters, whatsoever. भगति सहित मुनि आहुति दीन्हे प्रगटे अग्नि चारु कर लीन्हे. And after oblations were poured into the fire, fire god emerged in human form, holding a vessel filled with a mystic pudding. जो वशिष्ठ कछु हृदय विचारा सकल काजु भा सिद्ध तुम्हारा. And the fire god said, O King Dasharatha, led by sage Vasishtha, the yajna you have performed has been successful. Your aspiration to be blessed with children, that's going to be fulfilled. Take this mystic pudding, Havishanya, that anna preparation that emerged out of the mystic fire. Take that and distribute it among your queens according to your wish. तब अदृश्य भये पावक सकल सभई समुझाई परमानंद मगन निप हर्षन हृदय समाई. Thus saying, the fire god disappeared. The king was exceedingly joyous as he held that vessel of pudding. तबहि राय प्रिय नारी बोलाई कौशल्यादि तहाँ चली आई. And the king called those three queens, Kaushalya, Sumitra, Kaikeyi, all the three came. Ardha bhag Kaushalya hi dinha. Half of that pudding he gave to Kaushalya. Ubhay bhag adhe kar kinha. The other half he cut it into two parts. Kaikeyi kaha nripasodayahu rahyo subhay bhaga punika bhayayu. And one part was given to Kaikeyi. What was left is one part. That he again divided into two. And out of these two, one piece he gave to Kaushalya, another to Kaikeyi, and then switched his gaze to Sumitra, implying, give that to Sumitra. So Sumitra received two small parts and gave birth to the Lakshmana and Shatrughna. This Tulsidas is the mathematics. Description of 4 yogas in a mathematical order. Jnana is the highest. So it's represented by 1/2 half. Bhakti next to Jnana is represented by 1/4. Shatrughna and Lakshmana, they're 1/8 each. If you know mathematics, combine it all. It becomes 1. No matter whatever may be the mathematical value, they are all together. Just like your hand doesn't have the same mathematical value as your ears. but, but all are important for. So in integral yoga, this is the combination of 4 yogas. And that's in reality called one word, yoga. Real yoga is all the 4 blended, meant to bring perfect integration. Karma yoga removes malas, gross impurities. Bhakti allows your heart to develop devotional, profound feelings. Dhyana, meditation, represented by Lakshmana, allows you to develop profound will, unshaken. Then Rama shines. End up with Viram. All troubles come to an end with Viram. Put it another way, you get Aram. Absolute comfort. Eternal comfort. यही विधि गर्भ सहित सब नारी भई हृदय हर्षित सुख भारी. All the 3 became pregnant, and these divine spirits brought to them immense joy. मंदिर मह सब राजहि रानी शोभाशील तेज की खानी सुखजुत कछुत काल चली गयऊ यही प्रभु प्रगट सो अवसर भयऊ. Now with the passage of time, and the passage of time was every day delightful for the queens, and also the radiation of these great divine souls filled the whole palace with, and the city, Ayodhya, filled with joyous vibrations. But now time came for Rama's incarnation. Jog lagan graha bharatithi sakal bhaye anukul char aru achar harshajut Ram janakan janama anukul sukamul. All things that determine a good birth all became perfectly in order, perfectly agreeable. Astrological junctions, grahas, planetary conditions, date, time, all, even the inert objects and conscious beings, all became harmonized because Rama, who is coming to incarnation, is the source of all joy. Now we'll leave you for next time. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.